How to, let's see. Oh, damn it, I don't know. Some tips and tricks on, as I'd like to call it, disentangling from a narcissist and or highly narcissistic person. So someone can have what's known as high trait narcissism, which in effect means also still the full gambit of the abusive cycles. And it can be very difficult to tell which one you're dealing with, especially when you're in the thick of it, due to the full gambit, essentially. But you can get a pretty damn good idea. But in my experience, it takes being out of it for some time to get a really clear idea. And this is part of the healing process, being able to classify this stuff and label it. And one of the things I heard early on about some of the rumination that can occur, again, as a side effect of the full gambit, is not something to be resisted, because in effect this is your brain's attempt at rewiring itself from something that we're really not designed for to go through. Everything I understand about psychobiology, this is just something that we are not cut out for, and as a result, many of us had to have adapted some interesting methods of getting around this stuff and recovering from it, and thank God recovery is possible, especially with the right kind of roadmaps and resonant information, as I like to call it. But anyway, disentangling with the narcissist is one tip and trick I've help to find, and this is where some inner work is going to come in handy. I mean, one thing is, doing as much inner work as you can. This will help build you up, quietly. Even if, you've just got the cell phone and internet connection, and you can listen to videos. Well, there you go. That's what a lot of us have done. A lot of us have been doing that for a long time. And that'll help significantly, but I've got somewhat of a method, and it can help in processing some kind of unconscious entanglements and emotions, because these can be difficult to detect, especially when, an instinctive kind of response to abuse is to kind of just numb out those areas that you're being abused, essentially, especially with ambient abuse, which is one of the most insidious. But also the more direct forms. Of course, any narcissistic person is going to be a concoction, depending on their style, if you will. And it's always custom tailored. The way that their operating system works is to identify your vulnerabilities and what they perceive to be as weaknesses, and to start leveraging those as much as they can over time. And they'll test you too. They'll find what's too much all at once and what isn't, and this is one of the many reasons you can't try to get through to them. Be like, can you please stop doing this? It's killing me. You'll just get I don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. You're so unstable. You need help. I hope you can get the help that you need. Right. Well, I've been there, done that many times over, thankfully. And it's helped significantly. And too bad they don't take their own advice in this department, but what are we talking about here? So, but one thing you can do, this can help disentangle the trauma bond. And it'll be different depending on whether you're dealing with a romantic entanglement or a parent. It's much different. Or perhaps a sibling, depending on your situation. But, if they've got you as the target, then you'll need to, you could try this. And this has helped me significantly. It's acknowledging to yourself in certain assets, if you can find where that discord and pain is within, if you can identify that in some degree or another, such as anywhere where there's any discord, like how much did this particular thing that they did cause me pain? What would I call that? And then, this is an important one, how much? Like in my case, it's often been an extreme amount. And what do you know? This can help to start dismantling this crap a little bit. The narcissist's entanglements unconscious entanglements. And it can also be, as you might, be trying to resist your feelings for a narcissistic person. If it's a romantic thing, well then, how much love do I have for this person still? The answer may be an extreme amount. You just gotta go in and feel that. As I've said in another video, you might have some sloppy, teary-eyed sessions, and that's okay. That's good. This is part of the body and mind. I mean, same thing essentially, kind of processing some very difficult things. And if you have to do it out of sight and out of mind of the narcissist, hey, I get it. Been there. Been doing that. Big time. Big time. There's also the kind of grieving process of coming to terms with who and what this person really is and has been this whole time, and the fact that the person that you knew or thought you knew never really existed, at least not in the capacity that you've known them. And that's very difficult too. That's very difficult too. That's also the grieving process. I would just recommend looking up the grieving process on that. And from a more enlightened perspective, I'd recommend damn well near anything from Daniel Mackler, former psychotherapist who left his trade due to a number of conscientious objections, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. The whole damn thing is kind of a mess. But thankfully, there's some other things coming around in another way. But anyway. When it comes to this little method that I mentioned, you can apply this in damn well near anything, in any way, any kind of feeling thing, anything where you feel this is because in doing this is something that can help you to prevent from getting sucked back into the narcissist's crap. It can help you prepare for no contact and everything else under the sun. And this is something that's helped me significantly, as have a number of other modalities and understandings. I mean, I was raised in this stuff, and it boy, did it follow me around. And it took a quadruple whammy to really wake me up to just a lot of things I just overlooked, because that's what the instructions were. And my God, it was like uncovering this intergenerational conspiracy, essentially, like many other people out there have found themselves into. What do you know? What do you know? And one of the many things that a narcissist will do is condition you to invalidate yourself, your own feelings, your own perceptions. Now, it may take some work to clean these up a bit, but my goodness, your perceptions and feelings are there for a reason. Now, like some people might have their operating systems might be a little scrambled, and off the top of my head, I would recommend looking into some work from the folks on the Young to Live By channel. That's Jung, and Carl Jung. That's Steve Richards and his wife Pauline Richards and James Dowling. I don't remember the video off the top of my head, but they have a video specifically on getting in touch with your instincts and repairing your instincts. Sometimes just knowing about this stuff can just kind of connect things in the right way and help get you back on track. And you may notice, you start getting better. One of the things you're going to want to do is feel kind of celebratory if you're getting better in all these ways. My goodness, it's terrific. And it's very challenging to have to kind of partition this off as well while ensnared by a narcissist. Now, if you're ensnared that much, it's because they've done the full gambit, including financial abuse. And there's so many ways they can accomplish that. So many ways. So many ways. That's not just one video. I don't even know how many. That's a topic in and of itself. Just like every other aspect of this labyrinthian and malignant topic. It's a relatively unthinkable topic. One of the things that is it hard to be able to discern this at the time, but it really is. It's a defect. It's a defect in adaptation and growth. And I know it seems evil, and maybe it kind of, and it kind of is. Like, there's one thing that the unconscious mind will do. It'll start putting these images in your head of all kinds of awful things. And in my experience, this is a way of the unconscious kind of trying to communicate the best it can that something really bad is happening. Because it's picking up on all kinds of stuff that we are not consciously aware of. But we can be if we get a bit more integrated. That's another topic as well. If you can get out enough, you really will start to see them as, well, they kind of are. This angry, broken little kid that doesn't have the tools to see itself in these ways. It can't. It has to reject this stuff wholesale and project it upon you. This is one of the many needs of the narcissistic operating system, to have a target. This is more prominent in some cases than in others, and some of them will find a harder time achieving this later in life, so they will tend to adapt these many kind of mini methods of achieving this, whatever they can. That being said, in my experience, I am not of the opinion that something a little more esoteric isn't going on there. In fact, I am of that opinion. Big time. And I hope to be able to explore that more and give some more presentations with the team here. Thank you to all of you, by the way. Big time. One of the reasons I started making content, I didn't know if I was going to make it out of here or not, and I thought, at least I could somehow get out some of my life's work, if you will, somehow. This is a very microcosm of it, but at least it's something. At least it's something I can get it out there. So I've had to claw my way out of way too many hells to not do that in some capacity. So I found a roundabout way. That was at least safe enough. And one of the things I found that the less the narcissist, in my case, and again, this is a moniker that's used to describe somebody with a narcissistic operating system and interface, was the less that this person knew about me, or wouldn't you know it, the better things that I was doing seemed to go. Just mysteriously. My goodness. What do you know? What are the odds? Must be just another coincidence on top of that mountain of additional coincidences. The team and I haven't sniffed out every single method that they use to generate these kinds of environments and the side effects. Oh, but we've sniffed out a fair amount, as have many other rogue gumshoes out there, in a manner of speaking, using useful fictions here. Useful fictions can be great for self-actualizing in a number of ways, especially if you have to do so kind of clandestine. And what an insane position to have to find oneself in. It's almost as if it's unjustifiable in every conceivable way, because it is. One of the biggest wastes of narcissism is, here's somebody who could have worked with you in any number of ways. You could have prospered together in many ways or something, but no. Somebody just had to keep playing King of the Hill in Hell and had to bury your authenticity. In secret, while pretending to be your friend and or family member. Maybe they're so scrambled they actually believe that they kind of are, and sometimes that's the case. They really don't understand why these things keep happening over and over with different people. And their counterfeit justification machine will go into overdrive. And it's the same things every time. Oh, this person is just stupid. Or, oh, they're just whatever. Blah, 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 blah. I am whatever. And they always have to maintain in control, suppressing every authentic emotion and feeling within them. They've got to maintain in control. They will go to any lengths to keep this shit up. It's just a nightmare. It's so stupid. It's stupid and it's wasteful. I think that's about it for this one. Thanks for tuning in.